Good evening. Good evening, everyone. The July 15th regular board meeting is being recorded. Anyone wishing to observe the meeting may do so via AVUHSD's YouTube channel. Individuals may take photographs or record meetings, provided the individual's conduct does not constitute a disruption, including obstructing the view of others. Roll call. Trustee Hughes.
Present.
Trustee Hernandez.
Present.
Trustee Vice President Sanchez.
Present.
Trustee Mann is not here this evening. I am here, Carla Corona, and our student board member, Rihanna Mbarque, is not here either. We're gonna go to closed session, public business from the floor, closed session agenda items. Are there any comments from the public on closed session items?
Nope, we have no comments at this time.
The Board of Trustees will go into closed session and we'll reconvene the regular meeting at 7 p.m. All right, good evening, everyone. We're going to reconvene the regular meeting.
Welcome to the Antelope Valley Union High School District Board of Trustees meeting. This board meeting is being recorded. Anyone wishing to observe the meeting may do so via AVUHSD's YouTube channel. Individuals may take photographs or record meetings provided the individual's conduct does not constitute a disruption, including obstructing the views of others. Those wishing to address items on the agenda and matters that are not on the agenda but within the jurisdiction of the AVUHSD board shall do so in person, complete a speaker form, and give it to the designee before the public comment portion of the meeting. The speaker form must be given to Ms. Orozco before the board president announces the item. Once the item has been called, we will no longer accept new cards. Ms. Orozco will call the individual's name to come up to the podium to provide their comments. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. A total time for public input on each item shall be limited to 20 minutes. Non-agendized items are limited to a total allotment of 20 minutes. Only one person is permitted to stand at the podium at a time. No speaker may relinquish a time allotment to another speaker. The district encourages members of the public to attend board meetings and to address the board concerning any item on the agenda or within the board's jurisdiction. The board does not prohibit public criticism of its policies, procedures, programs, services, acts, or omissions. Similarly, the board does not prohibit public criticism of district employees. Speakers are cautioned that no person is immune from liability for making intentionally false or defamatory comments simply because those comments are made at a public meeting. Attendees are also reminded of the board's civility policy, Policy 1313. This civility policy requires that members of the district staff will treat parents and other members of the public with respect and expect the same in return. The district is committed to maintaining disruption-free board meetings. The board will not permit any disturbance or willful interruption of its board meetings. Persistent disruption by an individual or group are grounds to terminate the privilege of addressing the board. Persistent disruption by an individual shall be grounds for the board president to terminate the individual's privilege to address the board. The district promotes mutual respect, civility, and orderly conduct among district board members, district employees, parents, and the public. The district seeks public cooperation with this endeavor.
Pledge of Allegiance. If we can all stand.
To
Mr.
the Antelope
Sanchez, if you could lead us, please.
Please stand. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. Thank you so much.
Madam President, before we begin, I'd like to make a request that we move item 10B to the right after we reconvene the regular meeting. We have some members from the families. We have Mr. Chris here. So I'd like to move that up if that's okay.
Yes, that's fine, as long as it's okay with our board. Yeah. So that will be then at 5, the 5-8. Okay, great. All right. For PINCO meeting, public comments from the floor for PINCO items. Are there any comments on the floor? For
No
PINCO?
comments for PINCO.
B, ratification, limited term extension for distribution services. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees authorize PINCO to enter into proposed agreement as presented. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. C, purchase order, PINCO. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve and authorize the purchases outlined on the attached schedule. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. All right, 5, reconvene regular meeting. So we are now going to jump to 10B, the adopt resolution number 2025-2602 aquatics facility. And then we'll have some speakers.
So we do have one public comment.
All right.
Okay, you can just call him up.
So Mr. Nehan, we could do the comment on
Yes,
this now? Okay.
yes.
All right, Lan Tran on the topic of the Olympic pool. Welcome. Yes, right over to the podium.
Hi, thank you for having me. My name is Lan Tran, and I speak on behalf of my family who stands behind me for the Tran family. My parents came here and established their life in Lancaster and Antelope Valley in the 80s. And we started swimming, and it became a large part of our life. And we created this great community with that. And we were so honored to be a part of the approval for the locker rooms of the aquatic facility to be named under my late brother, Dan. So yes, thank you.
Question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Did you swim and where did you swim? And
Sure.
tell us about yourself.
Sure. I swam at 5 years old, following my brothers, and we swam under a club named Oasis at that time. And we swam all throughout elementary school, middle school, and high school. And through that, it just built our foundation here in the community.
Did you guys win any titles or anything like that as a team?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah. In modesty, without the facilities that were provided here, I mean, it's a complete desert. And without the community here, we wouldn't have been able to have the success we did to go to state CIF level, go to juniors, myself going to juniors. I mean, it's an incredible thing. Junior nationals.
So what do you think about having a Olympic build type pool?
Yeah, it will close the gap between communities in LA County or this community to have even greater accomplishments, for them to have opportunities as I did. And I just want to give that background because I was able to, with everything that I had here, I was able to go to college, UCLA under ROTC scholarship. And I finished my service in the Marine Corps. And then now I'm in medical school as a third-year medical student with a Navy scholarship. So I'm so grateful for the swimming community giving me that foundational, perseverance to be the person I am and to hopefully provide back to this community one day when I come back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you. My name is Walt Beto. I'm the fifth, and just want to kind of acknowledge for our family, the naming of the pool after my grandfather, Coach Beto, and how special that is to us. And I know how much my dad would appreciate this as well. And just a really cool thing that we're excited about, and we're excited to come and support the facility and all that it's going to bring to the Valley here. So I just want to say thank you on behalf of the Beto family.
Great, thank
Thank
you. All right, so
And if I may just wrap it up, Mark Tebow, I came in January, presented an opportunity to increase our investment in the kids and the community and the families, and y'all did that, and I want to recognize it. In the 80s, the school district was approached by Tom Selleck, actually, and he wanted to build a pool, and the district whiffed on it because they were worried about some political stuff. And in 2000, when the city of Palmdale passed theirs, it was going to be one awesome facility like we've got planned here, but they had to split them. So now we have two nice facilities. Y'all did not. You guys put together a plan for a world-class facility, the school district and the city of Lancaster, and I appreciate it. We got more people here for this than anything else. So thank you. Good job. And have a good night.
Thank you for bringing us the idea. And look what happens.
thank you. All right, so then we'll do B, right?
Yeah, we can,
Okay.
yes.
Vote, okay. All right, so it is recommended that the Board of Trustees adopt resolution number 2025-2602 aquatics facility. Whereas the district believes in supporting the entire AV community, and whereas the district believes that a healthy and active lifestyle contributes to the overall quality of life in our valley. And whereas the district believes in the highest quality facilities for all of its students. And whereas the district believes that multi-agency partnerships strengthen our community. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the district endeavors to partner with the city of Lancaster to construct a world-class aquatics facility and does hereby determine as follows. The facility will be named the Marvin E. Christ Aquatics Facility. The competition pool will be named the Coach Walter Beto Pool. Apologies. The locker rooms will be named the Dan Tran Locker Rooms. So can I get a motion?
Motion.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I'm going to abstain from the vote due to a potential conflict due to the fact that I'm running for assembly. And I received a campaign donation from Mr. Chris, so I
Thank you.
will be abstaining from the vote.
Thank you. I just want to say this is so exciting to sit here in this chair and see that this could be a possibility with our vote. So I'm really excited. Any other discussion?
I share in the excitement, and I want to thank the families for taking the time to come and share your stories with us and for really building legacy in this city and with our students. And I know Ms. Tran mentioned, you'll be back, and thank you for your service. And we definitely expect to see you back. Thank you.
Great. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none
Abstention.
and one abstention. The motion passes.
Madam President, we do have some certificates for the family. If the board would like to join me on the floor.
Yes. Yes, please.
I could do that.
Me and Miguel. All right. So we're going to go back to 6. Section recognition, reports, public comments. We're going to start with a math presentation, Dr. Grado.
Yes, thank you. So back in May, Scott Hampton, our curricular coordinator over mathematics, gave a presentation to the board, and you had some very thoughtful questions, and he's here tonight to present again and answer those questions for you.
Good evening again.
Good evening. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so let's see what we have here. So one of the questions you asked was about the math literacy program and how many students we could serve. So I'll just recap math literacy real quickly, and then I'll answer your question. So math literacy program is a math intervention. It's for kids that are 3 or 4 years behind when they show up here. It's a 3 or 4 year program, depending on how long students stay in. Since we don't require 4 years of mathematics, not all students stay in the full 4 years. This program is very much hands-on and project-based, as you saw when you went to Little Rock. It says 2 years behind, but most of the kids are 3 or more years behind. We focus on numeracy. That's how well people understand numbers. And it's hard to understand, especially big numbers. Like in our district, we spend a lot of money sometimes, and it's hard for me to think about like what a million is. So we try to help people understand what a million is, or 10 million, or 100 million, because those numbers are crazy. We try to make it real world. So there's a whole variety of different things where they might be throwing off a Barbie from the second story to see how many rubber bands it takes so she narrowly misses hitting her head. There's an art project that we did with the MOA where we did tessellations. We even did it over COVID, which was pretty cool to see our kids' artwork online. I was happy about that. And it's in the Cedar Street Center. Like I told you before, it's difficult to scale. And then we co-created it with some former Stanford instructors. And that's our profile of what math literate students should look like. And he said, how many students could be served by this program? And it depends on the year, but I looked at this year's 12th graders coming in. So based off of that, we had about 2,000 kids that could have potentially used math literacy, about 650 kids a grade. We served up 500 kids total, and there's some reasons why. We have a class size of 25. There's training for the teachers, because this is not the normal training. This isn't just sit and get. This is, we have to teach the teachers how to teach students to interact with the real world. There's also a mindset piece, and the mindset is for everybody. It's for students as well. And a lot of students who haven't been successful don't always believe that they can be successful, and that takes sometimes some training and conning them into believing that they can be successful. And that goes into the student willingness. Since this is hands-on, you're not just going to sit there and you can't just barely skate by. You're in a group with your partners and you've got to work, and not all students want to work with other people. Some kids just learn better in like a traditional or a classic education. So it's not for everybody. It's not the norm, which does make people a little uncomfortable, but I think that's okay. And then, like I said, it's not for all kids. Some kids just don't want it. They don't want to have to deal with a partner on a project or do whatever else is involved in it, which, like I said, it's hands-on, it's collecting data. Not everybody wants to do that, but I think they should, because math is awesome. Question, can you go over the 8th to 11th grade data? And then I revised the question a little bit because I started thinking about what I think was the intention of this question. I want to make sure I got it right. And if I didn't, then we'll rework it until I figure out what we wanted. So here's what I thought you wanted. Did our students between 9th and 11th grade grow at a greater rate than students in California English and math as measured by CASP? So are we making our kids better? And I want to acknowledge something. This is not a trend. This is 1 year that I was able to find. So it's not a trend. It is what it is. So good or bad, it's just one thing. We need more data. It's the class of 2025. And the reason it's that class is because that's the only year that we had 8th grade CASP and 11th grade CASP. And I think it's due to COVID or maybe just how our data is stored. Don't know, but that's what I got. So it means the CASP scores are from 2001, or sorry, 2021. I still think it's 2001. I can't believe it's 2020 and 2024. So those are the 2 dates that we're looking at for the same group of students. It's not all the same students because as we can see, some students left us. So I'll do this one at a time. In 8th grade, what I did is I looked at how far they were from the state score. So in 8th grade for English, they were 59.1 points away from the state score. By the time they were at 11th grade, they were 57.2 points away. So they got 1.9 points closer. They got about 2 points closer. So that's good. For math, they started off 81 points below on average, and they ended at 66 points below on average for this cohort. And there's some kids missing because there's some kids that we don't have an 8th grade score for. So I had to exclude anybody that we don't have 2 scores. And so math gained about 14.5 points. No matter what we gained or didn't gain, I think we can obviously do better going forward. But this one data point, and we should be able to do this again next year when the new data comes in, provided we still have 8th grade data. So I don't make any guarantees, but if we have 8th grade data, I will do this again, same methodology so that we maintain a system. And then if this isn't what we wanted, then we'll talk about it and we'll figure out how to make it so that we get what you're looking for.
Is there a way, because I understand it's the score. And
Yes.
you were really great with me and Trustee Hernandez about our data meeting. Is there a way to find out, like, how many kids is that? So if all of us in the room took this test, how many in the room improved? Or is it not quite possible?
I think I can do that.
Oh.
I'll try and get back with you.
Yeah,
It looks like we have a future talk here, but I'll try. I don't remember what the data looks like.
Okay, because I know I'm very interested in, yes, the score is the data, but for the community and for the public and just for us to know that our kids in our classrooms are improving and it's 50 of them or 100 of them or that sort of thing versus a percentage, because you can't have a point of a human. So
not yet, right?
Not yet. Yeah, that's true. Oh, thank you.
Sure, I can do that. So thinking about it right now, I'd break it up into 3 categories. Went down, stayed about the same, and went up. And I'll put some parameters and stuff on there, and I'll let you know if I can do this. And it may not be till October when all the other data comes in. I don't know. You're welcome. You said, what does AP data look like? So I graphed the number of tests that we gave and the number of qualifying exams. So real briefly, AP is broken up, or AP scored a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. If you go to 3, 4, or 5, it's called a qualifying exam. And then most universities, except most classes, add a 3, because some universities say you need a 4 and some don't take them. They're all over the place. But most people take most tests at a 3. So that's why they call it a qualifying exam according to the College Board. So you can see over from 2018, not 2008, like I might think it is, up until 2025, I have the number of kids or the number of tests that we gave, the number of qualified scores, and then the percentage. And I'll give you a second to look at that, and then I'll talk about it for a second.
Do we know what schools these are from? Or
Yes.
is this
I have it
site?
broken down by school,
Okay,
but it seems so overwhelming
yes,
that I condensed it to 1.
that's fine.
But
And
if you want, we can,
that
I
could be
will-
another conversation.
I will gladly talk to you about data forever. And then we'll also talk about how to chunk it into pieces so that nobody's looking at 70 data slides, which sounds like fun only for me.
All right, so what I'm seeing is that for this most recent year,
Yes.
7,500 tests were given, AP tests.
Yes.
We don't know the subjects at this point. You know the subjects. We don't know the subjects yet. Okay. And 3,033 of the students qualified,
Correct.
which is 40%.
Yep.
That's great. That's
So, and if you want, like, I could break it down by everything,
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, the reason I also asked this question is because in the school site plans, a lot of the goals are just really small. I think we have to reach for higher. Some were 3% will get a qualifying, 7% will get a qualifying. But
Hmm.
that to me feels very low if indeed we can make those numbers. Now, if I were to look at Little Rock, let's say Little Rock took 2,000 AP class, or I'm sure that's too many, but I'm just putting a number out there.
Right.
2,000 and only of the 2018 qualified, that's where we have to look and see our support and the resources. as well.
Sure.
So that's kind of what I eventually want to get to.
We can do that. And when we do that, I just want to be mindful that if, let's say there's a class of 2 kids and both kids pass, then the pass rate looks tremendous.
Correct.
But it's, or if, if you have 1 kid fail, you're like, oh, last year you had 100%, this year you have 50%. You're like, last year 1 kid out of 1 pass, now 1 kid out of 2 passes. So
Yeah.
we'll go over all that and I'll give you numbers. And
Okay. Because
so
the
we can
national
talk about it.
average, I believe the last I looked, it's 30% or so for
I
AP
thi-
qualifying. And of course, UC schools want the Cal State. I mean, it's all different, but college, because again, APs are for college,
Yeah.
college going students. But I just see a lot of investment in APs and we're doing a lot of new curriculum, but I want to make sure that all students have access to it and that we're looking at it equitably for all kids. For
Absolutely.
APs. Okay.
I also have it broken down the number of tests given, number of students who took tests by site and by test, as well as qualifying exams and a bunch
Great.
of other stuff.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Question, is Exact Path effective? And only about 15% of the kids actively participated district-wide. I don't want to make a guess off of 15% because I don't know how if we randomly picked 15%, we could make a guess, but we don't know how they were picked. So let's say we're measuring human height and we pick 15% of the kids at a school and it happens to be the basketball team. You're like, wow, that school is super tall, when really we just didn't pick a good group. So based off of that, I don't want to make any guesses on anything. So I just shelved it.
Okay. Because Edmonton, I know, is a cost to the district and we want to make sure we're maximizing the use of something we're spending our money on.
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
And if more kids do it next year, if I have data, I will gladly bring it to you. I love data.
Mr. Data.
Question you asked, what is the Math Quality Instruction Committee? Meet with teachers. It's 4 or 5 times a year, depending on schedules, availability of myself and other humans, everything else. So meet with teachers, department chairs, and some administrators. We're going to lead and learn from each other about how to improve math instruction and leadership. Oh, it says 5 or 6 times a year and summer. I guess I meet 5 or 6 times a year. That's what it says here. I believe what I wrote when I was thinking. There's my shared vision. So I have a vision for mathematics in the district. And it's simple. Math will not be an obstacle for any student after high school. I'm going to guess we all know at least one person that math was an obstacle for after high school, and I don't want that to happen for anybody.
Great.
I have more pictures. There's some math teachers, and they're talking. They're in what we call consulting rounds. So in the lower corner, you'll see they had one of 2 questions they had to talk about. And it was either, what is your role in mathematical pedagogy and success at your site? Or they could talk about how has your view of what makes a good math lesson changed over the past 3 years? So they talk, they break up, meet with other people and talk and break up. We do that twice or 3 times total. So 2 breakups. And then we have a group discussion about how has math changed or whatever everybody talked about. We have a growth mindset portion where we ask ourselves, do we ever change our expectations on who we interact with? And then I have a teacher leader, Terry Ojeda. She does these coaching cards where you draw a scenario and then everyone talks about how to handle that. So that's fun. Over there, you can see some sticky notes where my teachers did some hands-on math, and then I took some notes. And then our motto this year, tagline, whatever you call it, it's be bold. I want people to be bold and do fun, cool stuff in mathematics. Oh, I almost forgot. At the very top, it says do math. Whenever we start off this, we do math. We have some math thing that we do, and that's my favorite part secretly.
We should do that before every board meeting. No, I'm kidding.
I would gladly facilitate that and have other people facilitate it every time. Send the word. Where are we at with AI? So here's where we're at with mathematics, because I know that. Multiple small group PDs. I met with Algebra 1, Algebra 2, Geometry, Biology, Chemistry, Anatomy, and Algebra 1A and 1B. And they had an introduction to AI. What is it? How to start off with it. We have another one coming up on August 1st that's going to expand for them. The UCLA Center X, we went to an integrating AI in the future of math education last week. During the department chair meetings, we talk about AI, and then we have a math AI subcommittee that the Quality Instruction Committee meets, and they're talking about how can we deal with this in the world of mathematics. All right, you asked me what I needed, and I said I need time because I'm a long thinker. I like to think about what you're asking me. So I broke it up into 4 slides, because why would I have 1 slide when 4 slides will work? And I broke it up into categories. So the first thing is I want a systemic change. I want us as a system to focus on math instruction and curriculum. And I put instruction first, because usually you see curriculum first, but I put instruction first because I believe we need to focus first on instruction, and the curriculum will come as a new framework and things come available. Well, the curriculum will show up, but I want to focus on math instruction. I want to communicate to everybody, or I want us as a department to communicate to everybody how important this CASP test is. I always wonder, do the kids, do the parents, do the teachers, do the administrators, does everybody really realize how important the CASP test is? And if not, then like, what can we, I agree. And how can we fix that? Because I believe that most people want to do most things right most of the time, but they don't always know what the right thing is. So I think we should start off by telling them this is the right thing. I also want to explain to people what the state tests are. Like, hey, we do state tests in math and English, so we should know that. Understand what the scores are, like we broke it down when we met. We broke it down, and not just once, because like medicine, if you take it once, it doesn't work. I think we have to have multiple conversations. And I want us to have a conversation about the testing environment. We started that when we met with the principals and said, hey, what does the testing look like at your site? How did you test your kids? Could that change things? So those are the systemic changes that we need to change. Professional development. We need to do some mathematical framework training, and I know somebody that's going to do that. We'll talk to them and see if we can get them to come out. And then we're very good about sending our teachers to conferences, and I want to keep doing that. Conferences is the only place where teachers who have been in the business can learn what's modern, what's going on, what's new, because things change. I know that I don't learn the same way now that I did when I was in college. If I wanted to replace the headlight in my car, in college, I would go get one of those stupid Chilton books. I'd sit it down, I'd open it up. I'd look at the diagram and I'd look at my car 500 times and hopefully I could figure it out. Now I take my phone, I go to YouTube, I put the YouTube video up on my car, and I change whatever I need to change on it. So we need to adapt constantly to modern things. So I appreciate the board sending us to conferences, and we need to continue to go to conferences. And it's very invigorating when you find out something like, oh, this is great. And sometimes just that little spark of excitement.
Yes, and I love that idea of conferences. I'm just wondering, how are you ensuring that they're bringing the knowledge back and then implementing it? Because, you know, we see a lot of conferences and we don't see much change. So and that could be a part of the journey, but just something to consider and think about, because I am very critical on the conferences. Mr. Nehan knows. But I do know they're really important as well, as long as there's the output, right?
Yeah.
So,
I don't want people just showing up to not go there. You need to attend and be a participant and see what you can do better. And sometimes it's people have to go 2 or 3 times to understand how to implement something new, or they try one little change. Because I'll tell people, if you can't do it every day, it's okay. Why don't you do it every other Friday? Like do something different every other Friday. That's 10%. And if you do that a few times, then pretty soon you've changed a bunch of your curriculum. So it's tough, but I appreciate what you're saying. Staffing. Love to have some teachers on special assignment and or math coaches. Mark White's here. He's a great help for us. I want instructional partners to focus on mathematics instruction. Another classified person would be fantastic. We rely on them a lot. What do I need more? Because you asked me what I need. I'm going to keep asking. AI, I want us to keep doing professional development on AI. And I want us to, at some point, get paid versions soon for all of our teachers. Even if they haven't been to training, I want them to play with it. I want them to play with the new toy and learn how it works and not be so afraid of it. I feel like so many people are afraid of AI. Don't be afraid of it. It's just a big teddy bear. Oh, and then lastly, I want the option to come back and ask for more stuff later on. Yeah. And thank you. So what questions do you have for me?
No, this is what I was looking for, is for a follow-up that answered the initial questions I had.
Excellent.
And this is really helpful then for the next iteration of our meeting that we'll be having, just about understanding data and math, because the perception of in the public comes from the dashboard.
Yeah.
And if you see scores that aren't the greatest looking, yet we have amazing jobs up here, opportunity for growth up here. I'm just concerned people don't want to move up here because of the schools. So we need to really change it.
And the kids deserve it.
Absolutely. All right, anything? Do you have a question? No? Thank you so much, Mr. Ham. This is
Thank you.
great.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next is Mark White Learning. B, presentation. Mark White Learning LLC, Dr. Grado.
Well, thank you. So, continuing on with the math theme, and as Scott mentioned, we really want to focus on math instruction. Mr. White is here to explain, what he does, consulting with us with regard to coaching our administrators and teachers to improve our math instruction.
Well, thank you for having me here this evening. I'm very happy to be here talking with you. I'm honored to be here with you. It's been a pleasure to work the last few years with Scott Hampton, your teachers, and your administrators. So I want tonight to share what I'm doing, what I'm seeing. I have some positive news for you and next steps. It ties in with what Scott was just saying there. Okay, if I can advance the slides, I'd be really happy here. Is it this button? There we go. Okay. Okay. So some quick words about me, so you'll know the perspective I'm bringing to you. I'm a retired school superintendent, principal, and teacher. Grew up in Texas, worked for many years there, and in Ohio, where my wife is from. I left Austin, Texas, and moved to Columbus, Ohio years ago. And I say, yes, the things we do for love, right? Great people in Ohio, much too cold for me, though. As a superintendent, I was a former member of Dell's Platinum Advisory Council. I was a superintendent invited to convene with about 150 CEOs in North America, and I would give advice to Michael Dell and his people on what's going on in education. I was nominated to represent Ohio superintendents as a summer fellow at Vanderbilt University. As a teacher, I served on 2 national education reform committees. I was a very outside the box teacher in Texas, and they said, will you go be on this committee for us? I said, okay. After I retired, I worked in China. So I was an administrator at the Beijing National Day Schools in Beijing for a year. I got to go around the world recruiting teachers to come to Beijing. So I got to talk with people around the world about what was going on in education. So I got this sort of global view. I bring that. I've observed over 4,000 K-12 lessons across America in about the last 7 years. New York City schools to here, lots of places in between. I'm an adjunct instructor at the graduate level at Ashland University and Muskingum University in Ohio. I've trained Fortune 500 university staff I am a former senior consultant for the Center for Model Schools, formerly the International Center for Leadership and Education. I first came into the district years ago working for ICLE. I've always enjoyed coming out here. I now live in Naples, Florida. I care enough about this. Yeah, I moved from Ohio all the way down to Naples, as far south as I could go. But I really cared enough about this project. I flew from Fort Myers yesterday morning all the way to here to talk to you tonight. I'm leaving again tomorrow morning to go home. Next week, I will be in Oklahoma, and then I do some work in Texas. One of my districts in Texas I worked with is on the Guadalupe River. So my heart goes out to them, okay? They weren't hit as hard, but I'm thinking of them these days. So anyway, that's who I am. My books briefly are about redesigning learning space, what's happening with schools in these disruptive times, why it's happening. 5-Gen Leadership, I'll talk about that some. And that turned into 4-Gen Leadership, a leadership book for business leaders. That's where the Fortune 500 and university staff comes in. So the purpose of what I'm doing is I provide coaching for teachers and administrators to improve math instruction through higher rigor, engagement strategies that fit today's students, and the use of more overall best practices. Most schools have been visited around 4 times each year for the past 2 years. So if I can help you understand rigor, I'm going to give you some really good data about what's happening in rigor here. It's coming up. This is Bloom's taxonomy. And so this is rigor. Rigor is not always the students working hard, working from bell to bell. They might be working hard. The teacher might have a lot of grades in the grade book, but they might be just remembering, understanding, and applying. When I was growing up, there was a lot of remembering. I'm probably about the oldest person in the room here, but that said, we did a lot of remembering. The world has changed. Information is now doubling every 12 to 24 hours in the world. These students we have today will be working in the 2050s, 2060s, 2070s. AI is reshaping work. It's reshaping education. It's reshaping society. So how do we help our students analyze, evaluate, create? Teach the standards, do everything we've been doing, but make sure we're in the upper levels of rigor whenever possible. So before I talk about observations I've seen with rigor, let me say this. You need to hear this as a board from someone who's come from all over and seen a lot of different things. I visited all the schools. The teachers and administrators care about their students. They work hard. I'm impressed by what I'm seeing. They know the content. It's not a matter of teachers not knowing what they're doing. They all want to improve. They work really hard and they know that they can be better. They want their scores to be higher. We're getting to that point. Some of the teachers you have here are world class. I always go into a school and I say, okay, if I were going to open Mark White High School, who would I choose here to come work for me? And I can find people on a lot of campuses here. I'd say, hey, please come join my staff. They're that good. The teaching in the math classrooms has improved in the past 2 years. In terms of the rigor, the things we're talking about here, I'll show you that in a second. They were having great professional dialogue about teaching. It's occurring on all the campuses now. They're talking about what they're doing. And so they're working at this together. And I've seen this about the students here. They want to learn. They are challenged by a lot of different things. As you know, we have poverty, we have trauma, we have all kinds of things going on here. Every school, every district is different wherever I go. And so with that said, we have to shift whatever we're doing to make sure we fit their needs. And our teachers want to do that. I'm trying to help teachers work smarter because they're already working harder. Okay, so what can we do with this? So with that said, let's talk about the rigor. So it has improved for the past 2 years. My first visit here, I spent about 2 weeks going to about every campus. And I would walk in just about every math classroom for about 10 or 15 minutes. My visits are about 10 or 15 minutes per classroom. Often I come out afterwards, I talk with the teacher, I coach the teacher up. I might be talking with the administrator, the instructional partner, the department chair. And I say, you did this really, really well. Think about the rigor. Where were you in Bloom's taxonomy? And they know Bloom's. We talk about that a lot. So in that first year, that first visit, now it was the beginning of the school year, some review going on, but only about 34% of the observed lessons were in the upper level of Bloom's taxonomy. So that's a little bit low. Again, it's the beginning of the school year, okay? But by the end of this past year, looking back at what I was seeing, 71% of the lessons had at least some parts of the rigor in the upper levels of Bloom's. I could see this has come up. So that's a 37% increase in rigor in what I'm seeing in your classrooms. So the kids are thinking at higher levels. That's what we want to see. Get them thinking now, building that brain power for when they go on. I want to talk about engagement, student discourse, that sort of thing, based upon really two pieces. One, my book about the 5 generations. I did a lot of work looking at Gen Z and Gen Alpha. A lot of people don't know Gen Alphas in our schools. The Gen Zers are almost out. They're basically juniors and seniors now. We have mainly Gen Alphas in our K-12 systems. So you have about half of your students, or not counting the middle schools, about half your students are Gen Alphas and Gen Zers. Okay, so the Gen Alphas are just about here. It's based on that and Peter Liljedahl's book. This is Building Thinking Classrooms in Mathematics. He's focusing on high rigor, student discourse, effective engagement strategies. I want to really commend this district. I'm seeing more of it used here than almost any place I'm going. This works. Basically, Liljedahl says we need to get kids thinking, and he wants students standing up because research shows when students stand up, when we stand up, we think at higher levels and more engaged. They go and work in groups of 3, and they help each other. It doesn't mean that's all they do. There's still direct instruction. There's still assessment going on. But he is saying, we're seeing a difference here. I go into classrooms here, I'm seeing it. I mean, this stuff really works. And so positive things are happening. So let's keep going here. And talking about student discourse, by the way, student discourse is just students talking to each other. It might be standing. It might be, hey, turn to a partner. Hey, work in a small group. But our Gen Alpha and Gen Z students need to talk to each other. That is rigorous also because they extend each other's thinking. They ask each other questions. So with that said, when I first got here, about 50%, 56% of the observed lessons had some sort of student discourse. That means almost 50% did not. Now, I was only there for a snapshot. Maybe they did after I left, maybe not. What I found with high school, and I've taught high school for many years, I was a high school principal for many years. A lot of high school teachers are afraid to have their students talk because they're afraid they're going to lose control. They don't have to worry about that. Just need to get out of their comfort zone, and they're getting there. By the end of this year, that had gone up to 68%. And so I'm seeing more student discourse, and I'm having really great conversations with teachers who want to do it. And I'm helping them break through that mold along with their instructional partners and department heads. So we've seen a 12% increase in the past 2 years. So the rigor is up, the discourse is up. I would say the student engagement is up. And these students today are harder to engage than any generations in history. So with that said, what are the next steps? Continue to implement high rigor in all the schools. They're all talking about that. Continue to implement engagement strategies that fit today's students and our Antelope Valley students. Continue to assist teachers with overall best practices in all schools. Continue to assist administrators and instructional partners with planning and implementation. Have those great conversations. Implement Liljedahl's student discourse, more of that. Continue to, oh, and by the way, that's being done really well at Lancaster High School. A lot of the schools are doing well. Shout out to a few schools. Lancaster, they've really adopted the idea of using Liljedahl's tactics. Continue to implement peer coaching. Nikki Gordon at Knight High School, you might know Nikki. Really, what they're doing, a lot of the same things we're talking about here, they're to the point to where they have teachers observing other teachers with me, and sometimes when I'm not there, and they're giving each other feedback based around these areas, what they've learned to do in the coaching. Shout out to Palmdale High School. I know we have Jerome Harris is still here and Stephen Calzada. They're at the point to where they know also they want to get better. They want to have higher scores. They want to start looking at their formative assessments and data during the school year, not just what we're doing now, but at the end of the units, at the end of the testing, at the end of the chapters, and just see how can we use this to intervene and get our students stronger before they go in and take the test. That's a really important step to take. We're improving the teaching. Now it's time to start tying it even more closely, like Scott was saying, with the data, what we're seeing here. So in a quick nutshell, that's what I am doing. What questions do you have for me, if any?
I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
The math, which math classes are you in?
I'm going into just about all of them, everything from the lowest level up to AP classes.
How could your service assist us with getting kids ready? The data that Mr. Hampton showed, and that there's 2,000 that could be doing the remedial math, but only 50 are taking advantage of it, something like that. I may be getting the data wrong. I just, but really the bigger question is, how can you help get the kids ready for Algebra 1, because that's where they need to be.
Were you talking about when they come in, they're taking
Yes.
Algebra 1?
Yes.
I don't know what I can do to get them ready because that's at a lower grade level, right? I will tell you this, I'm not trying to cast stones at anybody, but I don't think that the students coming in here have the skill level they need to have coming into ninth grade.
Right. So how could you help us the summer?
Oh, okay. Oh, before
ninth
that,
grade?
before that.
Yeah. If anything, otherwise, because I feel like that's a missing opportunity
It
that we
is,
really have to hone in on.
we first of all, you have to get them here.
Right.
And that's a hard thing to do everywhere. You have to really make it fun. You have to make it feel like it's not school, whatever that means. What I've seen this with engaging these students today, you have to challenge them to think. You have to provide a safe, supportive place. Not that you don't have that here. I mean, a lot of very good classroom cultures I'm seeing here, okay? But it's a matter of drilling down and sometimes working on the basics. But you have to find different ways of doing it because many times students have been taught the basics, but it didn't work. And so what we're trying to tell teachers to do, like using Loserdahl's tactics or focusing on the higher levels of rigor or these new engagement strategies I talk about of pacing and the student discourse and using the images, the colors, the content relevance and all this kind of stuff. You have to be able to do it differently. Just doing the same thing over again, you might get the same results. Just because they're older doesn't mean they're going to get it. So I would say think differently in whatever we do.
Okay, great. I had another question and it
Okay.
just blew my mind.
Oh,
But maybe
okay.
it'll come back in the next couple of minutes.
Okay.
Does anybody have any other questions?
Thank you very, very much for the presentation. I'm very impressed. One thing we're doing on this board is when we spend money, we want to know that we're getting our money's worth.
Right.
And Carl and I, we've had some debates on you and who is this guy and what is he doing? And I got to tell you, I turned to Carl and I said, yeah, he's worth his money.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm very positive about your presentation. So thank you very much. It helps us and makes our job easier when we spend money because we really want to make sure we're spending our money right. And I'll say we're spending our money right here.
Well,
Madam President.
thank you for saying that. Let me tell you this, there's not a day when I don't get out of bed wherever I am to go work. I don't think like the former superintendent and thinking these are taxpayer dollars going into this. I make sure you get what you need at the best of my abilities. I assure you, I'll keep working hard for you.
Great. I remember the question.
Okay.
Are you finding that working with veteran teachers and new teachers is different for you as far as the ability to learn different learning
Interesting.
instructions?
Great question.
Because I'm wondering if there's a way to, because, you know, people talk and there's one set of teachers that they say it's not the easiest or whatnot,
Mhm.
but I'm just curious if there is a difference or if everyone is just like, yes.
What's interesting is to complement a lot of the more senior teachers, I'm seeing quite a few people like, not to poke stones at Jerome being a senior teacher, but an experienced teacher, okay? But a lot of them here are open to new ideas. You know, I'm seeing them lead the way in some cases. Now, I do have some, like everywhere, who are like looking at me and looking around saying, what now? You want me to do what? I've been doing this for 20, 25 years, you know? And well, it means that sometimes wherever I go, a teacher might be controlling the classroom, know the content, know how to line things up, but are the students really learning? And so that's what we're trying to dig into. I'm finding that when we hire great young teachers, as in Gen Zers, there's nothing better than a great Gen Z teacher because they come in with a technology mindset to move quickly. They're used to change. When they pick things up in a hurry, start going, that's really positive. Here's what I'm starting to see. I'll see more of it. Change is happening. The discussions are happening now. More change will come. The people who don't want to change will become uncomfortable. And they'll start looking around and their circle of support is shrinking. Because I'm seeing a lot of people who might not have been fully on board, but now they're starting to see others using these tactics around them, their peers, and they're starting to understand the rigor part of it. They're starting to look at the data, and that's not where they want to be. And they're saying, what's happening here? And people are starting to talk about it. So I'm optimistic about where we're going. I feel very good about the progress we're making, and to keep making the progress and start seeing really the test scores you want to see if we keep moving in this direction.
Great. Thank you.
Anything
Wonderful.
else?
I think that's it. Thank you so much. This was
Okay. Thank
super
you.
helpful for
Appreciate having
me.
you. Thank you.
Safe travels.
Yes, safe travels. All right, Dr. Grado, C, presentation on high impact tutoring.
Yes, this is actually really exciting as well to introduce. We talked about one of the measurable indicators is the reduction in our ninth grade course failure rates. I pulled some data today, and of our ninth graders last year, semester one, 42% had at least one F at semester one, and that's just unacceptable. And we're looking at how can we reach these students earlier. So progress report one, quarter one, progress report three, we need to have these students in some kind of high impact tutoring, something that will either pull out or of the classroom or even an online one-on-one. So I thank you for having varsity tutors here today to describe what they do. They've flown in today, and I'll hand it over to them. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Great evening to all of you. I'm Anthony Salcido. I'm the Chief Institution Officer at Varsity Tutors. I'm joined by my colleague who leads all of our school support across the West region of the United States, Andres Franklin. We're excited to talk a little bit about Varsity Tutors and how we can help the students across Antelope Valley Union High School District. I'm going to talk a little bit about who we are as a company for those of you who may not have heard of Varsity Tutors. We're one of the largest providers in high impact tutoring across the United States. We started 18 years ago. We're a publicly traded company under the stock symbol NERDY. We're nerdy in the work that we do. But we have been working primarily with families, parents who take money out of their own paycheck to help support their kiddos, getting support for algebra, getting on path to college. And we've taken that best of breed approach, that intentional approach, and applied it to school districts. I spent over 30 years supporting districts in the United States and across the country. I spent most of that time leading the education efforts for Microsoft. And I left to start the work that we've been doing here at Varsity Tutors to help school districts. As you see here, we're working with lots of school districts across the United States. And we're headquartered in Missouri. We focus on the US and our tutors are US based and the schools that we serve are US based, a mix from elementary all through high school. The families work also includes adults and certainly students in college, but the work that we do on the institution side, which I look after, is focused on schools from K through 12. We also have been very focused on delivering results. And we do that because we've been very intentional about aligning to the research on high impact tutoring. We both contribute to and align to the research from institutions like Stanford University's National Student Support Accelerator, the Annenberg Institute with Brown University. It aligns to a few basic tenets, whether we work together or other work providers you look at. Consistent high quality instruction that's consistently scheduled with a relationship between tutor and student is critical. You also need to be aligned to both the workflow, the tools and curriculum that is being used inside the classroom. In this case, it's better to be aligned both to teacher instruction as well as the work that students are doing. And then you want to be data driven. A lot of providers will provide you data to see what happened at the end. It turns out we operate our business session by session with real deep insight. And I'll talk a little bit about that. Meaning if a student is scheduled for tutoring on Tuesday, you absolutely need to understand where they are and sort of scope and sequence and pace of understanding before you move to a session on Thursday. Because if you don't understand that, you're replicating the problem that teachers deal with every day where students are learning at a different pace. So we are not only data focused on outcomes, but data driven in terms of how we structure the scope and sequence of every learner. When we work with you, every learner gets an individual education plan with instructional goals, and we use technology to drive that. That's where it started. You saw that live plus AI. AI is a big part of it, and certainly tools that we provide to your students. We provide a rich interactive platform to connect virtually with tutors all across the country and students, either 1-to-1 or 1-to-5. Again, that's aligned to research. Individualized instruction with either remediation or enrichment focused on small groups is critical. And we do that in a proprietary platform. In addition to that intentional focus on whatever cohort of students you need with specific learning goals and consistent engagement with tutors, we have learned, and this is an important part of our offering, to provide support across the multi-tiered systems of support for all students and educators in the district. So we're going to help kids that need help with enrichment, kids that are struggling and need remediation, as well as help educators get access to tools. And I'll highlight some of these tools. You mentioned earlier about summer. We're running 6-week classes on bridging the gap to algebra right now, as well as bridging the gap to geometry and bridging the gap to trigonometry. We offer hundreds of classes every single week for students to sign up for, which includes everything from all K through 12, all high school subjects, as well as enrichment, learning to play chess, learning a language, coding, AI classes for parents, and a rich library of ACT, PSAT, and SAT classes, including college and career readiness preparation. Your kids need help getting on a path to college, how to apply for financial aid, et cetera. We have folks like Deborah Doran, who used to be the seniors admissions director at Harvard University, doing weekly classes with students, giving them the blueprint on what admissions directors are looking for schools. That's available for all of your students across the district. We also provide students with rich AI tools like a 24/7 access to an AI tutor, as well as live human tutors if students prefer. Our tutors are ready to go when students need help. They're working on a project at 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. on a Sunday. They can reach out to our tutors and our tutors will be there to help them. So a rich set of services that we provide with great tutors that are highly vetted, safe and secure. We're tutoring and mentoring our tutors all the time to make sure that they deliver high standards. And we deliver a high satisfaction rate across our work. And that's certainly something that you can count on with what we do every single day. We use AI on the back end first to provide deep insight. Every single interaction between a human and a student is transcribed, recorded, so you can watch a live video of every session that we do together, or we provide AI to provide quick transcripts, session summaries that can be provided for either teachers, your administrators, or even parents, as well as analysis of student progress that informs the next session. So we use AI to keep pace on where students are, and all of this is an example here. You can see access to students, videos, summary, all the information that you need. We also provide tools for all of your educators. We talked about AI, and I think it was mentioned about getting AI tools. This, working with us, you'd get, every teacher would have a full suite of AI tools. Lesson plan generation, slide generation aligned to your standards and curriculum, access to an AI tutor to support. I need examples of interactive experiences. That's there for teachers as well as students. AI chat, AI practice problem generator, et cetera. And that's something that we do in the work. We also provide deep admin reporting as well as a customer success person that will work with you week to week on instructional coaching, changes that we need to make, and full professional development we need to provide your teachers, whether virtually or on site. We do a lot of work on safety. We're working with thousands of districts across the US. So not only highest standards with regards to data safety, but we run perpetual FBI background checks on all of the tutors that we work with to ensure that they deliver the highest standards and safety that you require. We do a lot of research. This is an example of a project we did with University of California, Irvine, looking on math grades. We randomized, selected a group of about 1,000 students, assessed them when they started, assessed them at the end. Students that worked through a 10-week program with varsity tutors did a 217% basis point improvement against the base. We do the same kind of results in reading. We tend to see anywhere from a 15% to a 40% on average rating. Now, the reason why that's such a range is some schools will choose to do tutoring for enrichment and some will do for remediation. So the worse students are struggling, the faster they'll grow with individualized instruction support. This is nothing, frankly, specific to us. We just use the technology to enable it. It turns out if you get an educator working with consistently with any student, you're going to see learning gains. What we help you do is scale this efficiently and provide data to make that help work. We also have delivered great results with many, many testimonials. These are videos I'm not going to show with regards to parents and students showing their growth on tests. One of the difference that we provide is because we work with families, many times the families that we're working with are looking to get their student from a B+ to an A+, or they're looking to get a student from a 1480 to a 1580 on an SAT. We primarily serve kids that are struggling below grade level, but we have a range of tools and experiences working for every end of the spectrum. So that's one of the great things that we can deliver, help you with enrichment, helping with kids who are curious in learning. We're running rich summer camps on coding, every subject in the K-12 right now, and that would be available for all your kids working with us. So we're looking forward to supporting the district and certainly happy to go through any questions that you may have.
I have a question. So I'm always concerned about the digital divide, right? And most of our kids, I think all of the kids have access to Chromebooks.
Sure.
Chromebooks are not the highest quality piece of machinery. Can this work on a Chromebook because this is super fancy and there's video and I just know Chromebooks sometimes can't even pull up the internet. So
So as someone with Microsoft for a long time, I appreciate your comment, but Chromebooks are more than effective for this work.
Okay.
And frankly, we do cache throttling on our websites to make sure it works in the lowest bandwidth setting as well as high bandwidth setting. We have a mobile version, so you can use our Varsity Tutors on a phone, iPad, Chromebook, and anything in between. So we work with all sorts of devices. And remember, we're working with some of the most rural schools in the United States where bandwidth is a huge challenge, and that's certainly something that we're comfortable with. Chromebook is more than sufficient for the work that we do.
okay. I'm trying to get a way to get rid of Chromebooks. No, I'm kidding. I'm just trying to find your agenda item to see what you're proposing to offer. So that's what I'm looking for. The other question is this service in school time or this is for out of school time? And is this for every single student in the district?
Great question. I think in the proposal, you'll see there's about 1,500 or so students that we'd
Okay.
identify for tutoring twice a week throughout the school
okay.
year.
Got it.
All the other 23,000 or so students across the district would get access to a 24/7 access to a tutor, meaning that they can engage with a tutor for a question 24/7, but it won't be a consistent tutoring session like an hour session every twice a week. So
Right.
it's a very different thing.
Yeah.
But they'd have access to that. They'd have access to AI tools, and they have access to all the classes, the hundreds of live classes. And the classes are with humans. It's basically like taking an online class. You're meeting with the same tutor once a week for as long as the classes go. We have some classes go as long as 12 weeks. Sometimes there's one-time only classes where we bring an astronaut not in or a learning luminary to talk about a specific topic or a specific agenda item. All the classes would be available for all your students. And then the AI tools, again, for all of your students and all of your teachers.
And Madam President, if I may, how we envision that with your regard to your question is that those students that really need the high impact, high dosage tutoring, that first progress report, those freshmen that are really struggling, we get them in the live tutoring immediately, and then the rest of our population could all access the AI and the other tutoring, just like we've had in the past with other companies. But all students will be able to access the program.
Yep.
But it's those freshmen right in the beginning that we really want to focus on in that first progress report. Right, the one-on-one pull out from their classes or whatever we need to do to get them up to speed.
And this would be the first time we would be working with varsity tutors, correct?
Correct.
Okay, because right now it's a 1-year what
Yeah,
you're proposing.
and that would
is
also
1 year.
include access to summer as well. So you would have access to classes and all the stuff that we do to help with bridging the gap in the summer.
Yes.
And anecdotally, we have one of our team members in our division actually has used them personally at home and says nothing but good things as well. So
Yeah, it's, I mean, amazing. I could have used this when I took my
Yeah.
TFP.
Thank you.
Okay, any questions, anybody?
No, I like that this was first started to help parents. I remember paying for private tutors. I wish this was available when my kids were in school. I know there was one concern about the engagement, getting the kids engaged and using. I know it'll be open to 1,500, but do we know how we can get the kids? Just because it's there and it's available, like how to make sure the kids get engaged?
So I'll give you a couple of ideas. One of the things that you'll see with high dosage, high impact tutoring research is it's better to do it during the school day. The reason for that, you can read a lot of things. The reason, frankly, is when kids are attending during the school day, they're sort of mandated to attend. And so once they attend and you force them to attend, you'll get engagement there. We obviously find that's certainly one. The other thing that happens is when kids are struggling in classrooms, they're often silent and they get more silent as the concepts, especially in math, start to be something that they don't understand. They see their peers answering questions that they don't even comprehend. They get further and further away, and kids say they don't like math. It's largely because they're fearful of their own lack of understanding. Teachers are struggling to handle 40, 50 kids. They don't have the time to diagnose that and engage. When kids feel that they've got help, and that's often help that's coming from an outside person. This is something that research will also show is that sometimes having that same teacher in the classroom spend extra time with the kids doesn't help because that same fear that students don't want to show their teacher they don't understand a concept That it gets unlocked when you have a personal relationship with someone who's not their teacher. So what we find is that students start to build that in connection and engagement. When kids leave the program, we have a good news channel internally at Varsity Tutors that we see every day from posts from parents, teachers, and students. Commonly, it's, I gain more confidence. My child is more excited to go to school than ever before. Teachers saying, I can't believe the turnaround in this learner. It has nothing to do with the instructional quality. It's often that social connection. That's what happens. So I think engagement is there. As it relates to the other 20,000 or so kids in the district getting access to the classes and things like that, one of the things we have to do is be consistent with regards to marketing and supporting, telling parents and parent nights about these services, making sure teachers see these as an extension of them where they can recommend classes to kids to attend. And we have a range of enrichment and remediation support. So you'll find that all the kids happen. One of the great things about the classes and the wide set of tools, it also destigmatizes kids that are in forced instruction. So let's say you have 1,500 kids that have to go to Varsity Tutors twice a week. Because everyone in their class is actually having access to Varsity Tutors for other things, there is no stigma in being part of Varsity Tutors because it's something for all kids. And that's one of the reasons why we provide this rich set of services for everyone.
Dr. Grado, so the 1550 students that's proposed here, how are we going to identify those students?
The first progress report and then teacher recommendations. So
Okay.
with that freshman class, and we see, we had about 2,100 students that failed semester one, at least one class. But if we can get them, at the 1550 right away and either progress report one or quarter one and get those identified and immediately in the program. And then, of course, the rest of the services, all other students, as you said, other 20,000 will be able to use as well.
So what does it look like in the classroom? Because you're saying Varsity Tutors to be used in the school day.
Yep.
So so what is the teacher doing? Where are these kids? Because it's groups of 5 per tutor. What is tell me the.
Yeah, we haven't done all the logistics on it yet, but
Okay.
I'm kind of envisioning a pull-out program, to take, if you have a few students right away and get them working with those tutors immediately, whether it's, taking them to the student support center or something to work. As he was mentioning, during the school day is more effective because we have them as a good audience. And so that's what I'm envisioning, but we would, as Ed Services team, we would look at it and see what the best ideas would be.
And it could be truly a mix. You can have some kids pulled out. Lots of schools will do group instruction, will be a regular part of classroom where kids are working in tables. In many of our school districts, one of those tables is a Varsity Tutors table where kids have a headset and a Chromebook in front of them. They can all be working with different tutors, or all 5 of them can be working with the same tutor. That really is your preference. And certainly that's a common way as well. And we do obviously support after school, evenings, weekends as well. Many schools choose to do it during school because you can get consistent attendance from students.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a huge proponent of after school. I worked in it for
Yeah.
12 years, so.
And many schools
of
will do it
school
right
time.
before, right after school
Yeah.
to just make it part of
Yeah.
the student's day.
Dr. Grado, I have a question. So we're going to try to identify the kids early, get them into this program. And are we going to track? Is there going to be data for us at the end? And the end of this next year, we approve this contract. The next year, will you guys have data for us to go? All right, we engaged 1,500 kids. This is where they're at. Now this is where they're at.
Absolutely. I mean, and I think it
We'll
would
give a
be.
sense of the data. We'll do a pre-assessment of every student. We need that both to get a baseline, but also to understand this tutor matching. So we need to understand the skills dynamics. You'll get data on a session by session level. So you'll see exit tickets, which is a 5-question summation on the academic goal of that session. You'll see how kids are progressing session by session. And then we'll do a post-assessment where you'll see progress. We could do that post-assessment at a semester level, or we can do it at quarterly level, or we can do it at the end of the program. So we'll be course correcting dynamically by the exit ticket. So we'll take the session generation to the summary of the session, the exit ticket performance, and actually generate the focus for the next session based on that. So we'll get data at the end, but certainly we're using data throughout. You'll also have
real-time data.
absolutely
Real-time.
And you'll also get the data in a real-time portal. So you'll have access to see progress at a session level, a student level, a school level, at the whole length of the period. So you can identify, one of the reasons we meet regularly with schools, because this is something you have to care and feed. Tutoring in any program that you do cannot be a start this year, and then at the end, I'll come and present what the results are. We can do that because we've worked on the data throughout the progress to drive that success. So we'll be actively with you along the way, course correcting. What we'll also do is remap students. It may be that we identify 5 kids to be meeting with 1 tutor. The instructional divergence will happen quickly, where you'll see 3 of the kids are getting 5 out of 5 on every exit ticket, and 2 of the kids are getting 0 out of 5. And then we will remap dynamically to say, oh, we're going to move these 2 kids with other kids, so the instructional consistency is there. So there's work going on throughout the program to make sure this is successful.
And Dr. Grado, when you found this company, how did you come about finding the company?
Actually, Dr. Slater Sanchez and also Ms. Porter were actually looking at them a while ago, and then Dr. Laird met him, I believe, at a conference, and so the other 2 had really been talking about high impact tutoring for about a year now, because with Ms. Porter with MTSS, it's something that, you know, from a tier 2 intervention perspective, you know, it's a perfect fit. We had been kind of, you know, looking into it, and then finally, you know, thought that it's the perfect time to do it, especially when we look at our, you know, goals and our measurable indicators, you know, for this year. It's a great time to get those freshmen where they need to be early. So, and like I said, anecdotally, somebody within our division actually used them personally, and, you know, recommended as well.
Great, awesome, thank you
Just
very
one
much.
last question. Are your tutors multilingual?
Yeah, absolutely. We support all sorts of languages. Obviously, as we scope the program, we need to understand the dynamics of that just so we can understand tutor capacity and focus. But we do a lot of support specifically in Spanish across the country.
Right. Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank
This
you.
was excellent. So
I really
helpful.
liked it. It's gonna help out.
Great presentation.
Thank you.
You don't want to say anything, sir? I'm just messing with you. I'm so messing with you. Good presentation, by the way.
That was good.
Okay. Wonderful.
You know.
All right, D, summary of measure AVH, general obligation bond sale, series A, including cost, Mr. Vensko.
Good evening, Madam President, fellow board members. Following the successful sale of the district's general obligation bonds, the California Education Code requires that the Board of Trustees be presented with the final costs of the bond sale. Attached to the board agenda is the full report of the actual costs of the bond sale prepared by our bond underwriter Baird & Co. However, tonight we have Jesse Landry from California Financial Services, the district's municipal advisor, who will present a brief overview of the final costs and the bond sale process. With that, I will turn it over to Jesse.
Thank you, Mr. Vinsko. Good evening, members of the board, district staff, members of the public. My name is Jesse Landry with California Financial Services. I serve as the district's municipal advisor for the Measure AVH bond series, and going back over the last 5 or 6 years serving in that capacity for the district. Actually, the beginning back in around 2019 with the lease transaction that helped purchase and remodel this wonderful district office that we're at. So my story here starts off with the election process, but I want to just take a minute and talk about all the hard work that went into this process to begin with. District staff really starting back in 2020, 2021, putting an immense amount of effort in identifying facilities needs and figuring out strategies on how we can finance some of these, some of the projects to benefit the community, to benefit the educational environments for the students. So a lot of work went into that leading up to about 1 year ago today in July when the board approved placing a bond measure on the ballot. And then a tremendous amount of work from a team of volunteers and a lot of man and woman hours put in with community leaders and helping get the message out about the needs of the school district and about the wonderful projects that could be completed through this measure. That all proved successful with a bond approval rate of 63.8% at the election. Under Prop 39 measures, I won't go over all these, but this is the standard way that school districts access general obligation bonds here in California. And I'll take a second to, please feel free to stop me at any time if there's any questions. I'll have time at the end as well. So just a quick overview of the 4 months that led up to our bond issuance process. District was working through the process of establishing the Citizens Oversight Committee, getting its finance team members settled, certifying the election results, and then preparing a lot of legal documents that the board approved, if you recall, back in April, at the April meeting when we approved the issuance of the bonds and the various documents. I wanted to mention one of the highlights through the process is we go to a rating service and we get a rating both for the district and for the bond itself. So through that process, a rating agency, in this case, Moody's Investor Services, looked at the district's financial situation. It looked at their management. It looked at the district tax base, so the community and the economy and things like that. And we were very happy with receiving an upgrade of the district's bond rating from what it previously had. So that means lower interest rates for the transaction and higher investor appetite for these bonds because they have a higher credit quality. The Moody's rating service, they pointed to this district's strong fiscal position that we've been in currently, the strong district management. And then they also really liked the local economy with the aerospace and defense industries here and felt like that was going to continue to be a strong industry going forward. So then we move on to the day of pricing. So this was back in late May. And I will say that it's been a bit of a volatile bond market here leading into the first of the year. One, a number, as I'm sure you're aware, a number of school districts approved general obligation bonds at the November 2024 election, meaning there's lots of competition out there. There's lots of supply on the market with additional bonds being issued. You add into that global interactions happening. You add into that the talk of tariffs and what's led to for us, a volatile market. Lots of ups and downs. So we were really trying to pick and be careful about the day that we chose to move forward with the pricing. We were successful when we moved forward on that day. We received orders from 24 different investment accounts and actually received orders in right around double the amount of bonds that were being offered. So we were offering right around $75 million in bonds. We received orders for $147 million, which means that we were able to successfully sell the bonds. It has been a tough time over the last couple of months with different days. Sometimes bonds just can't get sold that day and they have to get pulled. And we were happy that we were able to successfully sell the bonds on the day that we brought it forward and at interest rates that were in line with the amounts that we were expecting. And so here's a brief summary of those numbers. So we issued $74.9 million in bonds. Project fund deposits. So this is the amount that goes into Fund 21, and that's the amount that matters. This is the amount for projects. It's going to be $74.5 million deposited into Fund 21 back in early June when we closed the transaction. Very standard transaction, 30-year issuance, only current interest bonds, so no capital appreciation bonds. Folks are aware of what those are. All tax exempt, and these bonds become callable in about 10 years from now. So if we're in even a similar interest rate environment, we would have the opportunity to refinance, much like a mortgage. After you pay 10 years of a mortgage down, you only have 20 years left. You often can find an opportunity to provide interest rate savings by refinancing that. So the district will first have that opportunity in August 2035. True interest cost, 4.7%, so under 5%, and a repayment ratio, I'm happy to see us get under a 2-to-1 repayment ratio, meaning we pay back less than $2 for every $1 that we borrowed. So moving on to the next steps, excited to get the inaugural issuance out of the way here for the district and move forward with actually providing those additional facilities and educational opportunities for the community. I have a list here of all the additional project types, but now begins the fun process of actually starting those projects, identifying, prioritizing, scoping and sizing and scaling those projects. And then what's expected is that the majority of these funds will go towards some of the projects that are shovel ready right now, but a lot of those will go towards design and planning and soft costs associated with the bigger projects that may be coming a few years from now, with that next bond series slated for the 2027, 2029 timeframe. So just to mention, the district receives the $398 million in authorization under Measure AVH. It can't access all those in one fell swoop. It has to access those over time, and usually it's 2 to 3 year increments for each bond series, and that'll be dependent on assessed valuation within the district. It's going to be driven by the project needs and what projects need to be completed, and also going to be factored in with what interest rates are at that time. So those are going to go up and down, and that will affect the district's ability to access the remaining authorization over time. That's all I had for tonight. Any questions from the board?
I have just one question about the last page, the primary school construction project types. Is this this is what has been decided upon for the first round?
I wouldn't say that. No, I'd say these were the general types of projects that we had talked about with the community that we were planning on completing when we went through the process. The district right now, when it comes to identifying the projects and the priorities, we have to look at the bond project list that was used whenever the voters approved Measure AVH. So that's going to be the role of the Citizens Oversight Committee, is to make sure that however the district spends the money, that it's within the terms of those. The district is only tied to the bond project list at this point, as far as what projects it wants to complete and what time and what size and what scope.
Great. Yeah. This is helpful. Thank you
Thank
so
you all.
much.
Thank you, brother.
All right. All right, E, annual written report to the Board of Trustees concerning physical education. Dr. Grado, sorry. Technical difficulties.
Well, this is actually just the annual report of the physical fitness exam. There's actually not a presentation on it, but just for your information.
There were 7,000 for a lot of kids in there. Okay. Thank you. All right. This is an exciting one. F, district strategic plan update. The strategic plan that this board approved. Very excited, and we're gonna get our update from our superintendent.
So I just want to confirm with all of the board members after all these presentations, you're all excited? Thank you. All right. So thank you for the opportunity. I just wanted to give the board an update on the strategic plan. Since we approved it in December, it seemed quiet on the surface, but there are a lot of workings going on, or have been a lot of workings going on throughout the spring semester. And I'll start by saying, I promise you that there will be a poster on the wall. It's been through iterations. It is finally to the printer, but we will have a poster on the wall. I'd like to say by next meeting. I'm not going to make that promise. All right, so just a quick refresher. Our mission to provide equitable learning opportunities for all students, and we envision all AVUHSD graduates will possess the skills and attributes to make an affirmative contribution to their community and world. We value safety, learning, inclusion, equity, integrity, and innovation. And our goals in some academically proficient students ready for college and career, 21st century rigorous learning environments and curriculum, safe and secure positive school culture, and to communicate effectively with all educational partners and build relationships in our community. Areas of focus, and these are kind of the areas within which we tend to move and assess. Equitable learning, safety and wellness, relationship between school and community, modern facilities that foster learning and pride. Jesse just talked about a lot of that. And then communicating district excellence and resources. If you'll recall, the strategic plan is a simplified version of the LCAP. So those two plans are closely aligned. And then we also have them aligned with the board goals for 25 through 28, which are my evaluation goals as well. Since we've adopted the strategic plan, just some areas of note and progress that we've made. In equitable learning, we've adopted a new ELA curriculum, and we have district-wide implementation of the core instructional model, which is a tier 1, MTSS tier 1 implementation. Safety and wellness, you'll notice on the agenda this evening that we have the final contract for the updated camera systems. We've had a soft rollout at summer school for all the evolved weapons detection systems at all of our campuses. going very well, and we're slated for the Centegix alert system installation. They're going to start installing the first week of school. We're hoping that we get bumped up a little bit earlier, but that'll be up and running when school's going as well. Relationships between school and community. We had the experience at the fairgrounds, was a great showcase of our district programs and our students' products. And then finally, modern facilities that foster learning and pride. Not finally, I've got one more, and I cheated a little bit and took credit for passing a bond. But we did, within the passage, we did contract with a project management firm who's going to take the kind of the project list that Jesse showed and prioritize it and attach dollars to it. And then communicating district excellence and resources. We've added 3 staff members to our comms department. Very pleased with the products and work that they do. We've utilized Around Town to advertise the district on AVTA buses, and we've significantly increased the frequency and quality of our social media posts. For the coming year, we'll start with the big rollout. It actually starts in this room next Tuesday with our admin series. We're looking to decrease chronic absenteeism by 2%, and we're looking to increase average daily attendance by 1%. Doesn't sound like big movement, but an increase in a 1% increase is a significant bottom line addition. And as Dr. Grado and the gentleman from Varsity Tutors talked about, we need to increase the first time passage of all classes, specifically for 9th graders. Goal for first semester is 24%, which is a pretty significant goal. But I think that with some focused monitoring and the support that Varsity offers, we'll be able to achieve that, and we'll report back to the board. We need to increase student achievement. You heard a lot about that in math. These take it from the LCAP for the coming year. The increase is projected to be 10 points in math and 10.8 points in ELA, and then continuing to increase our parent and community engagement. In the next 3 months, we'll have admin series in here with about a 45-minute rollout of the strategic plan. Principals have all seen it, administrators have heard about it, but this will be the first dive. And then at the all teacher in service, we'll have a brief introduction at the beginning of both of our keynotes, as well as some displays outside with some talking points. We'll have implementation of the Evolve on the first day of school at all of our campuses, and that'll be the real test of the system. We're rolling out a new website, which is far more engaging, far more interactive than the current website, and that'll have a lot of components of the strategic plan built in. For the sites and getting out to all staff, we have planned in the fall and then the spring cabinet roadshows, and that's where we go out after school, voluntary on the part of staff, but everyone will have something to talk about. Mine will be the strategic plan, and then we engage in a dialogue with anybody who has questions from anything regarding negotiation, compensation, working conditions, and we stay as long as everybody's willing to talk to us. We need to take a deep look at our testing settings and our procedures, and I think Scott Hampton talked about this a little bit earlier as well. We want students to be prepared for the test. We think that that's happening in the classroom, and we can always get better at that. But we need to look at test day and what does that look like, because there's 2 components. There's students doing well on the test, and then the school site having 95% of their students tested within a certain window. So we want to make sure that there's not a compromise in the quality of the testing environment and the procedures we put in place while we're asking the students to perform their best on the test. And then we also need to begin developing now a spring testing campaign and provide some incentives for positive results for our students when they perform on the test. And I can stand up here and talk all day, but I can't do any of this by myself. It's cabinet, it's all of the district staff and all of the staff in the district that makes this happen. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much for this. This was really helpful. Because, I mean, as you know, the three of us have been, Mr. Hughes brought this forth a couple years ago, right? And so we've been working on it, and to see it moving is really
Coming to life.
exciting. Yeah.
It wasn't fast enough, but no, good job.
I agree. It was not fast enough,
I
but
wanted it done.
here we are.
I know. But here we are.
2 years, 6 months, we're
Um,
here. Good job. Good job. Very impressed.
This is great. And then I love the cabinet roadshows at all campuses. That's really great. And hopefully, I know with your, I would love to see you out on the videos doing, you know, superintendent team.
I've committed
mean-
to 5 video podcasts this year.
Great. This is great. But this is really helpful, and I very much look forward to seeing what's
Poster
next.
on the wall.
And our little
Your
place
placemats are coming as well as booklets.
so that we have them as reference, because again, board, anything we do, any decision we make has to follow this strategic plan and be intentional.
I guess I feel spoiled. I didn't have to wait 2 years for this. I did that.
For you, Mr. Hernandez.
Yes, the more you spoke, the more excited. It's like flipping faster. This is the mission, the vision, the values. It's just inspiring. Our community needs it, our kids need it, our parents need it. So I think we need t-shirts. We need t-shirts, but yeah, thank you. Bummer,
I would defer to Mr. Vensko on that.
Fine.
but thank
We'll
you,
make
thank
our
you for
own.
sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Hernandez, it's just been a lot of work last 2 years. How I was explained before, it's just, it's incredible where we came from to where we are today. Now we got the great leadership of someone that's smart sitting up there being our president to lead us into the next, you know, generation of just learning math. You see what we're doing here with math, Madam President. That's great. English. Yep, here we go. So
English will be
thank you, Mr. Nehan. Outstanding job.
Thank you.
I'm always impressed. You got a great cabinet. We got a great superintendent. We got great principals, staff. So I look, even though I'm trying to leave y'all, you know, I think I put a little mark, and I think I get to watch you guys grow and build great things. So pretty excited about that. Thank you.
Yes. And also thank you, Rachel, because I know you probably helped with getting all this together. So
There's no probably there. We already know.
we know.
We know who the backbone is.
Yes,
here.
right.
All right.
All right, great. Thank you. G, Quarterly Williams Complaints Report Summary, April 1, 2025 to June 30, 2025. Ms. Williams?
Madam President, I'm pleased to report we did not receive any complaints in those areas during that time period.
Great, thank you. All right, H, AVSTA Report Update, Mr. Vensko.
Good evening again, Madam President. Mine will be very brief. Later this week, AVSTA will conduct its regular board meeting, and at this meeting, the board will be reviewing and approving the AB 1200 and tentative agreements with their local CSEA chapter and management for the 24-25 school year. It took a little longer to get done, but it's all done just like we had about a month ago for our current CSEA. So that's all I have for the report. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I from AVTA, Mr. Millings or a representative? All right. J from CSEA, Mrs. Karen White. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, and hopefully some cooler weather in the forecast for us as we get closer and closer to the end of our summer school. It's been a fast summer school year for sure, and that's coming close to ending real soon, which means only one thing, and that means our freshmen will be attacking our campuses shortly. Tonight, you do have some stuff on your agenda for CSEA. It's our initial proposal for negotiations as well as for the district. And we hope that you'll be able to approve those so we can move forward. And we're hoping and looking forward to having a shorter negotiations period this next time. So everything is in the positive as far as I'm concerned. Okay, have a good week, a cooler weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Kay, public comments from the floor For agendized items, are there any comments from the public on agendized items?
I don't have any comments for agendized item, any
Oh.
speaker cards.
Okay, so L, public comments for the floor for non-agendized items. Are there any comments for non-agendized items?
Don't have any speaker cards for non-agendized items.
Everyone's. On 7, education services action item. Positions for policy admin regulation BP 4216, BPAR 4218, 4335, first reading discussion. It recommended that the board of trustees review the proposed revisions to board policies and admin regulation. Okay. Disciplinaries are
These policies are all updates to the law and regulation.
thank you. B, review proposed revisions to board policy admin regulation, BPAR 5131.8. Second read and discussion. It is recommended that the board of trustees review the proposed revisions to board policy and admin regulation as presented. This is the mobile communication devices. I just have a couple of questions on the more wordsmithing, but did everybody feel like this was a good adaptation from our last meeting? Judy, do you feel comfortable with? I agree with Dr. Grano. The last meeting, notes, questions. Carry out policy. Wait, we need to have the really.
Yeah, and if we can get some just updates, because what's going to roll out, I'm sure it's going to be a little interesting at first, but then just kind of keep us abreast of how it's moving and what we need to look at, if anything. So
Yeah, and I certainly would advise on it. It says revise to be looked at and revised every 5 years, but I would like to say 2 for now since it's so new. That was just the one thing I did want to add.
but we could potentially review it. We're going to review it again. Yeah.
Right, but in the writing, it's in 5 years, that's minimum, and I think it's just too long of an. You don't want another trust code. Should be 31 years. Great. So we're good?
Yep.
8, personnel services action items. A, open to conduct and close public hearing for the CSEA's initial proposal for negotiations to the collective bargaining unit agreement with the AVUHSD for 25-26 school year. The board will open public hearing at 8:44. Are there any comments from staff or board? Ms. Ramos?
We are excited, as Ms. White shared, to sunshine with CSEA for the upcoming school year. In addition to discussing health and welfare and compensation, CSEA is sunshining the vacation and leave article as well.
And are there any comments from the public?
I don't have any speaker cards at this time.
All right, we're gonna close it at 8:44, so we'll say 8:45. B, acknowledge receipt of the CSEA's initial proposal for negotiation, the collective bargaining unit agreement with the AVUHSD for the 25-26 school year. It is recommended that the board of trustees acknowledge receipt of the CSEA's initial proposal, negotiations to collective bargaining unit agreement with the AVUHSD for 25-26 school year. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. C, open, conduct, and close public hearing for AVUHSD's initial proposal for negotiations to the CSEA collective bargaining unit agreement for the 25-26 school year. The board will open the public hearing at 8:46. Are there any comments from the staff or board? Ms. Ramos?
So this is the district's opening proposal. So again, we'll be discussing compensation, health and welfare. We also would like to engage in dialogue around leaves as well as hours of employment for this season.
Are there any comments from the public?
No comments from the public?
All right, so let's close hearing at 8:47. D, acknowledge receipt of the Antelope Valley Union High School District's initial proposal for negotiations to the CSEA's collective bargaining unit agreement for the 25-26 school year. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees acknowledge receipt of the AVUHSD's initial proposal for negotiations to the collective bargaining unit agreement with the CSEA for the 25-26 school year. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none. Motion passes. E, AVUHSD/CSEA collective bargaining MOU regarding reclassification for the 25-26 school year. It's recommended that the board ratify the agreement with CSEA as presented. May I have a motion? Motion. Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. I just realized I didn't have my microphone on. Apologies. F, Los Angeles Sheriff's Department School Resource Deputy Program, PS number 2025-2606. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees ratify agreement PS 2025-2606 with LASD, Los Angeles Sheriff's Department School Resource Deputy Program as presented. May I have a motion?
I think the lady's gonna get a badge up here. I'll let her make.
Oh, would you like to make that motion?
Thank you. Motion?
Any second?
I'll second.
Second. Any discussion? Mr. Hughes? Nothing? All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none? Motion passes. G, approval of subsequent variable term waiver admin services. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve and direct the Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources to submit a subsequent administrative services variable term waiver to allow this individual to work as a vice principal for the 25-26 school year. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. H, approval of variable term waivers, admin services. It is recommended that the board approve and direct Assistant Superintendent of HR to submit admin services variable term waivers to allow these individuals to work as vice principals for the 25-26 school year. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Oh, sorry, discussion? No discussion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. I, approval of provisional internship permits. PIP. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve and direct the Assistant Superintendent, Human Resources, to submit provisional internship permits, allowing these individuals to teach in the subject areas indicated. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. Approval of short-term staff permit STSPs. It is recommended that the board approve and direct the Assistant Superintendent of HR to submit STSPs, allowing these individuals to teach in the subject area indicated. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, seeing none, motion passes. 9, business services, action items. A, conduct public hearing to consider entering into energy service contract to implement energy-related improvements. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees open, conduct, and close the public hearing with regard to an energy service contract with Pacific West Energy. The board will open the hearing at 8:50. Are there any comments from the staff? Mr. Fensco.
Yes, this contract will help us to replace our HVAC units and our lighting at the 3rd Street, what was formerly the adult ed at 3rd Street, as well as some lighting upgrades at Palmdale High School. And that concludes my report on this item.
Are there any comments from the public? Okay. Close public hearing at 8:51. B, Energy Services Contract Determination and Approval for Air Quality Measures. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve a contract for energy services with Pacific West Energy Solutions and authorize Kevin Vensko, Assistant Superintendent, to execute contract documents on behalf of the district. Can I get a motion?
Motion?
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. C, Barone, how do we say this? Barron, Contracting Gas System Surveys Proposal. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the attached proposal for Barron Contracting and authorize the Assistant Superintendent or designee as authorized agent to execute the contract on behalf of the district. Can I get a motion?
Motion?
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. D, approval of award of contract with Relevant IT Inc. for district-wide security camera refresh. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees and award district-wide security camera refresh to Relevant IT Inc. and authorize the superintendent or designee to execute the contract on behalf of the district. May I get a motion?
I'll motion.
Can I get a second?
I will second.
Any discussion? I just would like to say this is one of our first bond listed expenditures and AMIM from 2 years ago as well. So I'm really excited for this. All right. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. No opposition. Motion passes. E, award contract to the lowest responsible bidder, number 7/2425, food services equipment chain link enclosures, 6 sites. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees award bid number 7/2425, food services equipment chain link enclosures, 6 sites, to Red Hawk Services, Inc. as the lowest responsible bidder and authorize the Assistant Superintendent or designee to execute the contract on behalf of the district. Can I get a motion?
Motion?
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. F, award contract to the lowest responsible bidder, bid number 8/2425, M&O electrical upgrades. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees award bid number 8/2425, M&O electrical upgrades to Coast Construction Group as the lowest responsible bidder and authorize the Assistant Superintendent or designee to execute the contract on behalf of the district. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No opposition, motion passes. 10, admin services action items. A, adopt resolution number 2025-2601, board member absence. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees adopt resolution number 2025-2601, board member absence, which would allow board member Miguel Sanchez to be compensated for his absence from the board meeting held on June 2025. Can I get a motion?
Well, I'm gonna be recusing myself right now, right?
Yeah,
But you can't vote.
you're not
Yeah.
gonna.
I'm not gonna vote on it.
All right, we have a motion from Mr. Hughes. Do we get a second?
I'm just kidding. I'll second. I'll second.
Any discussion? Mr. Sanchez, I would like you to not be absent anymore. Thank you. Sounds good.
He's a very hard worker.
He is a hardworking man.
Lot of,
He does. I get it.
doing big things, so.
Yeah.
That's my discussion. He's doing great.
You are doing great. I'm not saying you're not. We miss you when you're not
You need to talk.
here. Yeah.
That's
I know.
this.
Hey, we work. We work. I get it. Okay. All right. So we have the motion, the second discussion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Abstention, Mr. Hughes. All right. I know.
Revote.
It's getting late. Okay, and we already did 10B, so we're gonna skip to 11. Approve consent agenda. Approve. It was a great 10B. Approve items listed in the following consent agenda categories: ed, student, personnel, business, and admin services. Actions proposed for the consent agenda are items consistent with adopted policies and approved practice of the district and are deemed routine in nature. The board will be asked to approve all of the items in the consent agenda by single vote unless any member of the board asks that an item be removed from the consent agenda, be considered and discussed separately. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the items listed in the following consent agenda categories: ed, student, personnel, business, and admin services as presented. Do I pull now or? Okay, so I want to pull for discussion. 9, nope, got that. Whatever the catapult learning is, I have a question about that. Okay, 12H, 12L. We talked about that one. 12Q. The Greenway Arts Alliance one. And these are for just discussion only. Greenway is where? Thank you. I just flipped the page numbers. We are talked about that. Okay. So 12H, this was the catapult. I'm just curious, when it says targeted funding, what is targeted funding exactly for this? And then how was each site determined for the number of sessions that they're proposing? You can always give me the answers later.
Yeah, let me find out exactly which sites, but I know almost all of them, well, all of them use the core instructional model. That's our foundational instructional framework. And we got it from Catapult. So in some capacity, they'll work with everybody. But there are certain sites that they'll specifically work with. So I'll get those for you and get back to you.
Okay. And then 12L was the mathematic. And that was, so it's 33,000 Title I, Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, and Pre-Calculus. And will those serve different students in the math world?
That's for the teachers. So yeah, so they actually, it's lesson planning and online community. And so all of our teachers will have access to it.
And how will that is different than Mark White learning if he's?
This would be more for, well, when Mark comes out, Mr. White comes out, he will actually just do walkthroughs with the classroom and then work with the teachers. This is accessed by the teachers at any time. So if they want a lesson plan, they want to get on and talk with each other, they can do that.
So it kind of helps with the framework and then he
Correct.
gives the nuances or
Yeah,
whatever.
and he'll do the observations.
Got it. All right. And then 12Q is the Antelope Valley Dual Enrollment Program, EDS. Just once the need assessment survey is created, I would like the board to see it. Professional is spelled wrong on their contract. Can we fix it? And then will the 50 leaders be chosen based on the interest in dual enrollment or those that have taught dual enrollment? And this you can let me know later too. Page 588. They spelled professional wrong, which is ironic. Okay. And then the Greenway Arts Alliance is what, 13D? If you could please advise the board when they have their culminating showcase performance. All right, that was it. Anybody else? Sorry.
Mr. Nahan, and when we're doing contracts that gets listed on the consent agenda, because we do a lot of contracts, just because I'm running for the assembly and I want to make sure that no one's I'm approving something that potentially someone did a donation to my firm. Can we ask each of these people that make sure they have not donated to my campaign or do something? So when I feel very comfortable, because I go through and I read, but just in case, can you guys make a caveat and make sure you ask to my campaign? I want to make sure that we're very clean with this. Just give it a
we
little
can
bit of
work on,
direction.
we can add that as a question, at least until.
Thank you. I
we
appreciate
don't
that.
even, but thank you.
Yeah,
Until we don't
I do a
need
good
to.
job reading, but I want to make sure that clearly just for transparency. All right, thank you.
Can do. Thank you.
Any other discussion for the consent? But just please remind me to give you those other notes of Thank you. I just don't want to forget. All right, so we have the motion, we have the second. No, we don't. Yes, we do. Can I get a motion, please?
Motion.
Second? Any discussion? Thank you for listening to me and my questions. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No opposition. Congrats in the back of the room. Okay. Our city tutors.
You guys were waiting for that vote, right?
Of course
Yeah,
they were.
congratulations.
You're gonna tutor all of us. We need it. Let's see. Okay, now we're moving to 17 from the board. Superintendent. Let's start with our superintendent.
I have no comments for this evening.
Thank you. Trustee Hughes.
Outstanding presentation on that strategic plan, Mr. Negan. I'm very impressed. It's just incredible what we've done in the last two and a half years. Madam President, good job leading this. You're doing a great job sitting in that chair. And to the cabinet, incredible, good job. That's all I really got to say. And I'm looking forward to getting our ninth graders proficient in math, and that'll help us out in our goal to make sure we produce great children out of this district. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Hernandez.
Yes, this was a great meeting. I mean, strategic plans, cameras, metal detectors, tutors. It's been great to see us progressing. And I just got here, so the amount of work you guys have done is finally coming into fruition. Be very proud. So great for our kids and our staff. Thank you all for your hard work.
Thank you. Mr. Sanchez.
Happy to see the conclusion of this all.
The middle. We're not ended in the middle.
Yeah, the middle, but it's getting there. Yeah. That's it.
Awesome. I've gone to two amazing conferences. I'll have it better gathered in my brain for my next report out. I'm just really excited to do great things, especially with arts integration, STEAM, and this was very informative. All of the presentations, all of them, great. Thank you so much. It really helps us be responsible and intentional board members so we know what we are moving forward and spending our community's money on. All right, so 18 closed session. We're going to go to 18D. During closed session, the board considered the employee appointment title vice principal. By a vote of 4-0, the board took action to appoint the appointments of Chris Paxton and Ricardo de la Peña to vice principal. Yes, that was both. 18E, during the closed session, the board considered a request to waive healthful living and physical education for an AVUHSD student. By a vote of 4-0, the board took action to approve the request. Item 18F, during the closed session, the board considered a request to waive healthful living from an AVUHSD student, HW 2526012. By a vote of 4-0, the board took action to approve the request. Item 18I, during the closed session, the board considered the existing litigation case number 22 AVC V 00567. By a vote of 4-0, the board took action to approve. And I think it is recommended that the board adjourn the meeting. Can I get a second? Motion.
Motion.
Second? If you want to stay, let's stay.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Good night, everybody. Thank you for the last people in the room.